Champion of what?
World champion of what?
I can drop a world lead, I don't even like running. You gotta run fast just to go and get some money. I'm Noah Lyles K, you know how I'm coming. I ain't going to no Olympics, I ain't running, I ain't jumping. I can make 100,000 at the crib being funny.
What's good, everybody? It's Aaron Brown, and on this video, I want to talk about the Grand Slam track and field. I seen that recently, this past week, they recently launched their locations in which they're going to host each event, and it's 4 events. They're happening in the spring of 2020. Grand Slam is having 4 events, one in Kingston, Jamaica at the National Stadium, one in Miramar, which isn't actually Miami, but it's promoted as Miami, Philadelphia at Franklin Field, which is a very slow track, in LA at UCLA. And they're having the 4 events between the spring and the fall. Between the spring and the summer. So from April 4th to June 29th. And each one is 2 days long. And they're going to be competing, and they signed a few athletes. But I want to talk about the just how I feel about Grand Slam and the things about it. So I think initially Mike had a pretty good idea, trying to just be innovative. Michael Johnson is a 4-time Olympic gold medalist, and he started the Michael Johnson's Performance Center out there in Dallas, Texas, which he's from, and I'm from as well. But yeah, it's just a thing to pretty much grow the sport. And we know that to make track and field big, it has to boom in the United States. But that's hard to do because there are so many other sports out here in the United States that garner a lot of attention, and there's so much money invested in them to where it's hard for I'll say poorly invested in sport to oversee those. So if this NFL, NBA, soccer, whatever, these are all sports getting billions of dollars promoted into them and pumped into them, it's going to be hard to outdo them when it comes to marketing, when it comes to just sheer entertainment, or just things that you can have access to. Because if you can't spend $1 billion on marketing, it's going to be hard to, especially in the United States. Now, if you in another country where there's just no other sports and they just forced to watch it, like Jamaica or a lot of these European countries, now they have other sports, but it's track is their thing out there because that's all they do. But out here, there's just so many other sports. It's going to be hard to, supersede those. So if you, that's what Michael Johnson is attempting to do with Grand Slam. He's attempting to make it, well, I'm not sure if he's trying to compete with football or soccer or whatever, but he's trying to make track bigger than it's ever been and just something that'd be more so lucrative and profitable. But I'm not seeing where Grand Slam would be profitable. I thought that initially when they launched Grand Slam that it was, I think he said that he's going to have events in Europe, only 2 in the United States, event in Europe, or maybe 2 in Europe, 2 in Europe, 2 in the United States. And then it's 3 of them in the United States and 1 in Jamaica, which is close as fuck to the United States. So it might as well have been in the United States. So off rip, you kill a lot of the market because I'll say ticket sales wise, it's going to be hard to sell track meet tickets in the United States, just during the regular season, because no one cares about track. Now, granted, you have the biggest names in the sport, but these names really aren't as big as people think. You got to think Sha'Carri Richardson is one of the biggest names, if not the biggest name in track and field. And the most memorable person, she's she's bigger than track and field because the everyday person knows her. She's a household name. But if you think about it like that, she runs at Miramar every year. And it don't be packed when she runs at Miramar, in which they're having one of the Grand Slams there. So if Sha'Carri Richardson isn't selling out a regular season meet in Miramar, how is whoever the hell they signed, how are they going to sell it out? So maybe due to better marketing and putting more dollars in it. But that's what I'm trying to see, because even if they sell tickets and things of that nature, Miramar isn't that big. So even if you sell it out, you're spending way more money in prize money. I think last place is $10,000. And first place is $100,000. So you're spending more money than you're actually making. Let's just say you spend, I think, 2 point something million per event. You spend 2 point something million per event. you're not making 2 point something million per event. If I'm looking at just them, let's just say they sell tickets, do concessions or whatever. That's not $2 million worth of revenue. Now, maybe if you're selling out like big stadiums and things of that nature, maybe so. But that's just simply not the case. Now, Franklin Field is big, but I don't believe that it's going to sell out Franklin Field. I mean, meets like New Balance National do, but it's like thousands of athletes competing and like their parents and things of that nature. And then also pin relays, but that's like this big historical meet. Just because you get big names at track meets, don't equal ticket sales. And we see that at some of these Diamond League meets. They have big names and they just don't sell out. But Europe does that, like they come out. So I was expecting at least one event, but I think Mike initially said 2 events will be in Europe. So I don't know. So, and then also with Grand Slam, he said that he's trying to pretty much promote accessibility to the sport, because we see that in track and field, there's a lot of back page websites that we have to go to watch it and things of that nature. Like we just can't access it easily. So they're trying to make it easily accessible. And I saw that they're trying to stream it on somewhere, and then like Citius Magazine's YouTube channel. And I hit up Mike. I tweeted at him. I was like, you might as well stream that motherfucker on my YouTube channel, because you gotta think, I get more views than Citius Mag. I'm gonna just be honest with you. I feel like I have a bigger audience and I'm more influential than Citius Magazine. I'm gonna just be honest. And they have a whole machine behind them, and it's just me doing it. So if I'm really pulling in more numbers and people see me more authentic and more genuine than them, why not stream with me? And all these motherfuckers be so pro-black and this and that. Put money in the black man pocket. Why you keep on supporting their ass? They're a part of like the structure in which is holding track and field back. Think about it. Citius Mag, Flow Track, Mile Split. We giving all of these people money, and they're producing this same old average track and field coverage in which we're used to seeing. So if you want to do something different and be cutting edge, you might as well come to Aaron Brown, come to Ray's Take. Hell, Ray's Take, when he was doing the Olympics, he was having 10,000 people per day on the live for like 14 days straight. Stream it on his YouTube channel. Stream it on my YouTube channel. I'm 7,000 people live. I'm doing a video. I can do it. Look at my numbers and look at Citius Magazine numbers. And they have a whole machine. They have hella employees that they got to pay. And I'm doing it all by myself, bigger than them, better than them, just because people are curious to see what I'm going to do and say. And I'm going to keep it real. So if you stream it with me, and I go in there and I give my insight and things of that nature, but people keep seeing the same old faces, why are they going to tune in? Because they're going to know it ain't nothing different. It's just a new name on it. We seen track meets at Penn Relay Stadium. We seen track meets at UCLA. Sydney ran the 200 at UCLA last year. We seen meets there. We seen meets at Jamaica at the National Stadium. We see the Jamaican champs there. We seen their Olympic trials there. Hell, their Olympic trials wasn't even sold out. It wasn't even packed in their Olympic trials. So I'm curious to see, a week after the Jamaican champs, are they going to come back and refill this stadium up? That's what I'm curious to see, especially with no Jamaican athletes like Keishane or Oblique signed to Grand Slam. I'm curious to see if they're going to do that. And then it's also, they're trying to emulate, the national success and things of that nature and build pride and attention amongst track and field. But I always tell people, I'm just so real, bro. Like, people hate real, but I'm just so real. I tell people all the time, you simply can't make people care about things that they just don't care about. And track and field is one of those things in the United States. And people always say, especially when somebody do some clown activity in track and field, oh, it's going to just gain more attention for the sport. Oh, it's good for the sport because it gains attention. Somebody could go out there and pull their pants down mid 400 while they was in a league and start losing. People start watching and people like, oh, that was just great for the sport. It gained more attention. We are attention whores in track and field. Instead of focusing on bringing outside people in, you got to think there's thousands of track and field fans. Why don't you work on pleasing and appeasing the thousands of people who already invest into the sport, rather than trying to bring in new people who don't give a damn about the sport, who aren't going to invest in it, whether they like it or not? And that's, I feel like, is the biggest problem marketing wise, where a lot of people go wrong when it comes to track. People always, oh, I'm trying to get new eyes on the sport. There's thousands of people who are unsatisfied already who invest in the sport. Why not satisfy those people and they will spend more money? But hey, what do I know? I'm just a guy with 2 marketing degrees that, yeah, but the challenges that they're going to have is the lack of mainstream appeal. It's track and field and it's in the United States. No one really cares. Like, it's not track and field is not really integrated into sports culture out here. Track athletes aren't cool in the United States. We don't look at these guys as celebrities. Like, I know all the top American guys, from the Fred Curleys to the Trayvon Bromels, the Christian Coleman. I don't see these guys as celebrities. And a lot of these guys, too, don't see them as celebrities. They could legit go walk into stores and be shopping around and nobody will say anything to them. Even at track meets, like, people will take pictures with them, but they ain't got to walk around with security and blah, blah, blah. Like, track people aren't celebrities, so they're going to struggle in that aspect out here in the United States, trying to grow, because it's just the appeal is not there. It's like a fragmented fan base out here. And then also another struggle they're going to have, I spoke on earlier, they're competing with billion-dollar leagues. So the NFL, NBA, MLB, dominated by sponsorships. They have billions of dollars in sponsors. Now, Grand Slam is sponsored by a billionaire. I forgot what his name was, but if you have guys giving you 2.3 billion and 4 billion and this and that to invest into marketing and advertising and things of that nature, Grand Slam can't compete. Yeah, so I feel like this is going to be interesting, to say the least. I'm not going to say it's going to fail or succeed, because you just don't know until it actually happens. But I'm trying to see how it will be profitable. And then the money that they're investing in, who they're investing with, and who they're deciding to work with and pay is pretty much the same thing we see all the time. The only really good hire that I'm happy about is Real Talk with T, since she's going to be working with them. Now, she works with all the regular meets as well, like Sidious Mag does, but the fact that she like get another opportunity to, do what she does and continue to elevate, shout out to T. But when they come to streaming and they streaming on a YouTube channel, you might as well stream on my YouTube channel. Now, Sidious Mag do have more subscribers than me, but the numbers don't lie. Men lie, women lie, number don't. I'll be seeing Sidious Mag run ads and all types of stuff, like, and with them running all those ads, they're still doing Aaron Brown numbers with no ads, just genuine people interest type. And even when it comes to just all social media platforms, I think I did 2 million views this week on TikTok alone, just sitting there talking. Now, I ain't gotta go do interviews with the biggest athlete and this and that like they have to do. They have to go do interviews with big names to do numbers. All I have to do is just sit here and talk to do numbers. Big difference. That's what I'm saying. They got to invest with the guys who people are interested in. Now, we don't care about Sidious Mag. They're boring. They're, the quality is good. We can always update the quality, invest into that. But the quality is good. But, they're boring. That's like the typical thing we see, like the Flow Track podcast. Their quality is good, but, it ran its course. Like, they fired everybody because it just wasn't making any money. It wasn't making any sense. But yeah, I'm definitely curious to see how Grand Slam will thrive or not thrive or fail. I'm curious to see, what changes they're going to make on the fly as it's like presented in its role and it rolls out. I'm curious to see which other athletes, or I don't really care which athletes, because if they get enough of the top athletes, they don't have to have the number 1 or the number 2 athlete. But if they get enough of the top athletes, that's going to either force the top athletes to attempt to come over and run with Grand Slam, or they just go run at all the other meets. And we just don't care because they're running against nobodies. But I was telling Michael Johnson about certain things that they should implement, like fining the athletes if they decide not to run, because they signed people like Sydney McLaughlin and she's known for not running. So, if she decides not to run, she needs to, get a fine like any other sports league. They get a fine. And when we see people all the time in track and field just show up or not show up, or even if they do good or bad, when it comes to other sports, whether they do good or bad, they have to sit down with the press and talk about it. So I said that or suggested that they should have to do interviews after they perform. If they be rolled, them being rolled and doing interviews are going to do better than them running fast and doing interviews. So you got to interview the people that got rolled more. And that's where I feel like track and field goes wrong as well. We don't want to see how everything went right and how everything went perfect. We want to see what went wrong and what happened in the backstory. Because I just feel like track is too secretive, like secretive about stuff that we don't even have to be secretive about. If I'm just going to be honest, and like, it's so funny to me too, because track people are just so secret. I tweeted about this week. Track people are so secretive about things that we're going to find out anyways. Like Elaine, people are trying to keep it on the hush of who our coach going to be. Why is that a secret? Like things that you don't even got to, be secretive about. Like I always tell people, like, why are you lying about things that you don't even got to lie about? Like it doesn't benefit you in any way. You're just lying about it. Why are we being secret about who your coach is? We're going to find out anyways. So you might as well tell us. And, why was you rolled today? We're going to find out anyways. Or like drug testing. You failed a drug test. You might as well tell us. We're going to find out anyways. But that's just the nature of track and field. I'm just very curious to see how Grand Slam is going to do. I'm definitely curious to see if they going to, streaming wise, I think they should go with something that we haven't seen before, not like a Flow Track or a Citius Mag or these guys in track that we really don't care about. Like they don't really, I guess, speak for the culture or really tapped into the culture. They're just like these white platforms that are boring, but they have the high quality and they have the, they fill out the media rights for the meets and things of that nature. So they beat all the meets. But there's people who really entertaining, like sitting at home, just talking, doing millions of views every week. But I'm just curious to see what they're going to do on that aspect. And yeah, that's pretty much it as of right now. Let me know what questions y'all have about Grand Slam down in the comments. And just like curiosities that y'all may have and things that y'all are just curious about. And we gonna figure all of this out together. And let me know in the comments down below, too, if y'all think that they should stream Grand Slam on my YouTube channel. Y'all let me know down below because I think it's a great idea. But until next time, I'm out.
I can drop a world lead, I don't even like running. You gotta run fast just to go and get some money. I'm no Elias K, you know how I'm coming. I ain't going to no Olympics, I ain't running, I ain't jumping. I can make 100,000 at the crib being funny.